Steelers Nation. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a story that's got everything: rivalry, playoff drama, and even a surprising twist that could put our Pittsburgh Steelers back in the hunt for the AFC North title. The team is always working to improve, and that's exactly what we need right now, especially with the way things are heating up in the division race. Before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button. It helps the channel grow and shows your support for the black and gold. And if you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Join the best Steelers community on YouTube. All right, let's get to it. The AFC North has been a battleground this season, as it always is. It's no secret that the Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, and Browns absolutely hate each other. But what makes our division so intense is that every rivalry game feels like a playoff game. You can feel the passion, the history, and yes, the outright animosity on every snap. Right now, the Steelers' path to the AFC North title isn't entirely closed, but it's going to take some help from an unlikely source. Here's the situation. If the Browns can somehow upset the Ravens and the Steelers take care of business against the Bengals, we win the division. Crazy, right? Here's where things get interesting. Browns' superstar pass rusher Myles Garrett has a reputation for being one of the best in the league. And let's be honest, Steelers Nation, he's also known for taking plenty of shots at our team and our guy, TJ Watt. Garrett's confidence rubs a lot of us the wrong way, and the rivalry only adds fuel to that fire. But now, Garrett might actually be the key to helping Pittsburgh win the division. Why? Because Garrett recently said he's laser-focused on disrupting the Ravens' playoff hopes. He's not worried about draft position or even the Browns' record at this point. He just wants to spoil Baltimore's party. In his own words, "I'd rather upset them and mess up their playoff hopes. And if the sack title comes along with that, great. Definitely going to do what I can to be disruptive and take number 8 Lamar Jackson out of the game." Garrett being Garrett, he's still aiming to make history for himself, but his competitive fire could lead to exactly what the Steelers need: a Browns upset. Let's not sugarcoat it. The Browns are 20-point underdogs against the Ravens, and for good reason. They're starting Bailey Zappe at quarterback, and their season has been a complete mess. Meanwhile, the Ravens have been rolling and are heavy favorites to win. But this is the NFL. Crazy things happen every week. Remember when the Jets stunned the Rams a couple of years ago as massive underdogs? Anything is possible. Plus, Garrett isn't the only Browns player with something to prove. If Cleveland's defense steps up and Zappe can play mistake-free football, they might just have a shot. And that's all we need, a chance. Of course, none of this matters if the Steelers don't handle their own business against the Bengals. After a rough stretch of 3 straight losses, this team needs to bounce back in a big way. The offense has shown flashes of brilliance, and the defense, led by TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick, has to lock things down. Let me ask you, Steelers Nation, do you believe this team has what it takes to finish strong and make a playoff push? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now, speaking of defense, let's talk about Minkah Fitzpatrick. The man just made the Pro Bowl, but some fans have been critical of his play this season. Why? Because the secondary has had its share of struggles, and it's clear Minkah has been cleaning up a lot of mistakes for others. Steelers insider Chris Carter pointed out a key moment where Fitzpatrick came all the way from his deep safety position to make a tackle that should have been someone else's responsibility. That someone? Cam Sutton. According to Carter, Sutton's lack of speed and blown coverages have been putting extra pressure on Fitzpatrick. What do you think, Steelers Nation? Should Beanie Bishop Jr., the undrafted rookie who's been making waves, get more playing time over Sutton? Bishop's 2 interceptions against Aaron Rodgers earlier this year showed his potential, and we all love a good underdog story. Back to the Browns for a second. Isn't it wild how the rivalry can take unexpected turns? One week we're trading blows on the field and in the media. The next we're hoping Myles Garrett and company can pull off a miracle for us. It's the kind of drama only the NFL and the AFC North can deliver. Garrett's competitive spirit could be the X factor here. If he's as disruptive as he says he plans to be, and if Lamar Jackson struggles under pressure, the Browns could shock the Ravens. And if that happens, we'll all be looking at Garrett in a very different light, if only for a moment. As things stand, the Steelers are in a tight spot when it comes to playoff seeding. If we win the AFC North, we lock in the 3rd seed, but if we lose, we're looking at either the 5th or 6th seed. And depending on how things shake out, we could face one of 2 very different opponents in the wild card round, the Houston Texans or the Baltimore Ravens. Now, if you ask most fans, the choice seems obvious. Houston. Why? Because facing the Ravens in Baltimore sounds like a nightmare matchup after our struggles against them earlier this season. But hold on. Playing in Houston might not be the lock everyone thinks it is. Let's talk about the Texans. They're sitting at 9-7 leading the AFC South, but this isn't the same team that took the league by storm last year. Houston's offense, led by C.J. Stroud, has been inconsistent. Just last week, they managed only a safety against the Ravens, meaning their offense was completely shut out. That's not exactly the kind of dominance you expect from a playoff contender. But here's where things get interesting. Ray Fittipaldo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette recently pointed out that playing in Houston might be tougher than we think. He called it a coin flip because of one key factor: home field advantage. Houston has shown they can step up in big games, and underestimating them could be dangerous. Steelers Nation, let's not forget the strides our team has made. After a tough stretch of losses, we've bounced back with solid wins against the Bengals and Browns. When Russell Wilson and George Pickens find their rhythm, this offense is capable of making big plays. On defense, the story is even better. The Steelers are going into Week 18 healthy, a rare luxury this late in the season. While no player is ever truly 100% at this point, having our key guys ready to go gives us a significant edge. And speaking of injuries, the Bengals aren't so lucky. Several of their top players, including T. Higgins and Sam Hubbard, are listed as questionable. That leaves Joe Burrow leaning heavily on Jamar Chase, which could work to our advantage. Now, before we even get to the playoffs, there's one more hurdle: Week 18 against the Bengals. Head coach Mike Tomlin didn't hold back when he addressed the media this week, saying the team needs to get the stench of losing off them. And honestly, he's right. This is more than just a game. It's about momentum, pride, and showing. We're ready for the postseason. Former Steelers cornerback Mike Hilton, now with the Bengals, called this matchup a bloodbath, and he's not wrong. The Bengals are fighting for their playoff lives, so we can expect an all-out war on the field. But if we play our game, stay disciplined, and avoid costly mistakes, we should come out on top. All right, Steelers Nation, it's time to talk strategy. If we win the division, we're likely heading to Houston. If not, it's back to Baltimore for another showdown with the Ravens. Here's how the two stack up. Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud has been shaky, and their receiving core is banged up. But home field advantage could make them a tougher out than people think. Baltimore Ravens. They're a division rival, and we know their style of play inside and out. But playing them on the road is never easy, especially with Lamar Jackson at the helm. So, who would you rather face? The Texans might seem like the easier opponent on paper, but the Ravens bring out the best in us. Either way, this team has to be ready to bring its A-game. All right, Steelers Nation, it's time for you to weigh in. Let's talk about it. 1. Do you think the Browns have any chance against the Ravens? 2. How do you feel about relying on Myles Garrett to help our playoff hopes? 3. And what about Minkah Fitzpatrick and the defense? Do you think he's covering for others' mistakes, and should we give Beanie Bishop Jr. more snaps? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think about all this AFC North madness. And while you're there, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Steelers Nation, this is what makes football so special: the passion, the rivalries, and the surprises that keep us on the edge of our seats. This weekend could bring one of those unforgettable moments that we'll talk about for years. Whether it's Garrett stepping up or the Steelers taking care of business, we've got a lot to watch for. If you're as excited as I am, hit that like button, share this video with your fellow Steelers fans, and make sure you're subscribed for all the latest updates. Together, we'll keep cheering on the black and gold no matter what. Until next time, stay loyal, stay loud, and as always, go Steelers.